Well, good morning. What we lose when we give up reading? This is the topic of our discussion today. What we lose when we give up reading? This is a 15-year-old YouTube video showing a toddler scrolling and clicking on an iPad. She tries those moves on magazines and gives up, perhaps concluding that a magazine is a broken iPad, which sums up our relationship with print these days. In the US, a 2024 study shows daily screen time has risen to 7.5 hours, while time with books and papers has reduced to 25 minutes. Static print does not stimulate us like the internet. It's boring and so primitive. Anything but if you ask Joel Hadroff, professor at University College Stockholm, whose book Reading Matters is a delightful history of reading and books, and a warning about the dangers of giving them up. Chapter after chapter, Haldorf shows how the humble books is an extremely sophisticated invention. So first off, it took us 65,000 years to get from language to writing. Yes, writing, therefore reading, is only about 5,000 years old. It's not one of our natural gifts. We learned to read and write with a lot of practice and became rusty when we stopped. So a couple of thousands years ago, writing and reading were both extremely rare. Writing because things like parchment and papyrus were super expensive. So the length of a scroll needed for a Bible cost as much as 300 kilograms of wheat. Haldorf says, and you had to pay for a scribe besides. But then you needed a specialist reader too, because all text was written without space and punctuations. Why? Because that is the way we speak. The problem with this mode of writing was that you had to read it aloud. To concentrate, once spaces and punctuations were invented, silent reading became possible, giving rise to erotic and radical political writing. So early Christians had experimented with the codex, a kind of book made by cutting scrolls into pages so that both sides could be written on. It was cheaper and portable, and became their identity when pagan Romans and Jews stuck to scrolls. But it was not until paper reached Europe that writing became more common. As serious books spread, universities came up, and with them disputatious scholars. So while monks read books cover to cover slowly with devotion, these scholars skimmed books for information, to forge arguments, so they invented chapters, tables of contents, and indexes. Next, the printing press, standardized size, script, and layout, and also pages numbers. It also standardized to vernacular language. For example, so farmers across Britain had heard scriptures read in the same dialect. So after the first English Bible was approved in 1539, so the book was invented by degrees over thousands of years, and when the press democratized, it started changing society. Martin Luther's printed pamphlets brought about the Reformation. Ideas of freedom, abolition of slavery, etc. spread through books. Reading also changed thinking, as Haldorf says, an oral society does not form complex ideas, but writing enables a literal society to reason deeply with clauses and subclauses, and so by the 1800s, the West became very bookish. People always had their noses and books. So that spell started breaking in the 20th century with cinema, radio, and TV. And now our phones have almost brought us full circle. So Haldorf warns we are becoming more oral again, therefore losing the ability for deep reasoning. Need proof. You have WhatsApp, universities, and social media, thuggeries and fakes. Thank you very much.